Hello and welcome to Lynchburg Live. I'm your host, Linda Smith. Lynchburg Grows is an urban farm right here in Lynchburg that takes a hands-in-the-dirt approach to teaching others how sustainable food production promotes a healthy planet, and a whole lot more. My guest tonight is Derek Cunningham, president of Lynchburg Grows. Derek, I'm so glad to have you as my guest.
Thank you for having me.
As we get started, could you please just tell our audience who may not be aware about Lynchburg Grows what it is?
Well, Lynchburg Grows is a nonprofit organization. It's established to provide an operation for job training for disabled and at-risk youth. And we're located right beside Lynchburg Stadium on 1339 Englewood Street.
Okay. When did this get started, Lynchburg Grows?
We were established in 2004, in September of 2004.
And what all do you have at Englewood Street?
Well, we've turned a nursery, a rose nursery, into urban farm. So we have farm produce.
That's so cool. So are you still growing roses?
We're still keeping that legacy going with growing the roses, yes.
That's wonderful. All right, now there were several founders. Are you one of the founders?
I'm one of 4 founders, yes.
And in doing research for this program, I found out that there was an interesting way that this whole thing got started. Can you tell us that story?
It started as one of the founders was a job coach for me, and he helped me to establish my own business. And we were looking around the Lynchburg trying to find plots to create community gardens. And he asked if I wanted to be on board with creating Lynchburg Grows. And so we found a hidden jewel in the greenhouses.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
And the rest is history.
So you've been president how long?
I've been president for 6 years.
All right, now, did I also read that you're a farm manager?
I started out as being one of the farm managers. I was one of the first people to actually help. It was one of the founders and myself were actually hands-on people growing the produce, so yes.
What, I know that you wear many hats. What does your job involve?
What doesn't it involve?
Do we have long enough to?
What doesn't involve? Day-to-day tasks for volunteers and for staff, food sale, getting in touch with local farmers, getting in touch with restaurants, and this daily maintenance of the greenhouses.
Now, you have a large area, and how many greenhouses do you have now from this one rose greenhouse?
We have 6.8 acres of land, 2 acres of greenhouses, and they equal 9 greenhouses total.
That's just amazing to me. And behind us is a picture of...
That is the back view of our greenhouses.
That's just, I just think that's wonderful. Now, it's a nonprofit. How are you all funded?
We started out we're still receiving grants right now, and sales from produce and other revenues that we make our own compost that we sell, and rose bush sales, and mainly those.
Now, do you actually sell the vegetables that you, or do you donate those? What happens with those?
We do sell the vegetables, and we do have a project that we are giving the produce away to organizations like Daily Bread.
That's wonderful. Now, how about restaurants, local restaurants? Do you sell your produce?
We do sell to local restaurants. At one given point in time, we had 5 restaurants that we were selling produce to.
And then you also sell at the community market?
We started out selling at the community market. That's how we were able to get our name out to the public and make people aware of where we're located and what we're doing. It's at the community market.
You know, recently there was a terrific article in the paper about you all. And I think it's so good that the community knows that you're there and what you're doing. And because you have so many programs, it was hard for me to keep up with all these programs that you have when I was doing research for this.
Yes.
Now, the profits that you gain go back into
It goes back into the organization, yes.
Right. Now, does each one of these 9 greenhouses have a specialty?
Pretty much so, yes. The first 2 are our produce production, our main greenhouses, and 3 through 6 will be rose production. Number 7 is going to be like a classroom workshop area. And number 8 is our donation greenhouse where we grow produce for daily bread and salvation.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
So you have a separate, an individual greenhouse,
Yes.
especially for donations.
Yes, we have a group that is taking on that project for us.
You know, this must be so difficult to coordinate. Do you coordinate all of this too?
Partly. We have many people that help coordinate all the different aspects, so I
That
don't
would be
have...
hard for one person.
Yes.
All right. Now, the greenhouses, does that enable you to grow fresh produce year-round?
We do. It changes from season to season, so in the fall and wintertime we grow fall crops like spinach and lettuce, carrots, and things like that. And then in the summertime we have traditional crops.
That's wonderful. All right. Now, is everything organically grown?
Everything, even the roses, we treat organic methods, yes.
Wonderful. Now, does this mean that you use low or no pesticides?
Yes. The pesticides that we rarely use will be certified organic pesticides.
I just think that, I mean, you're such an example to this city and to anybody else who happens to see this show of what can be done
Yes.
without the use of pesticides and all these chemicals that don't really do any of us any good, I don't think.
Right.
I also read that you have a goat and some chickens. Will you tell us about the goat and the chickens?
That's more of our attraction for the children. The chickens we were raising to collect eggs, and the goat and duck are more of like a petting zoo type thing for children.
Do you sell the eggs?
We do sell the eggs. Right now, we don't have our chickens enough chickens in supply right now to get enough eggs, but we are cycling new ones in to build up our supply again. But we do sell our eggs.
Great.
When we do have the chickens.
And you told me you have a duck.
We have a duck. We used to have 2 ducks, and we do have a duck, yes.
Now, you guys respond to a lot of critical community issues. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
The first issue that we tried to address was obesity in children. So we start getting involved with the school systems and selling the produce to the schools, and going in with assemblies with other organizations, teaching them how to eat healthy and where food comes from. It's not just a grocery store. It comes from
Right.
somewhere else first before it goes to the grocery store.
And through this program, is that what invites the school children out to actually see
Yes.
the whole thing?
Yes. I said we will go inside the school systems and give them the overall speech, and then when they come out, they get to see the visual. And we teach them a little bit more on recognizing what foods look like when they're starting to grow.
It's good for these kids to have an opportunity to do a little hands-on.
It does.
I'm sure it makes a big difference in how they respond from that point on after having seen it
Right.
from
and
the ground up.
And at times we teach them how to plant seeds, and they take the seeds home and see how it grows.
That's right. Now, there's something. What is a community-supported agriculture, or CSA?
In essence, it's a food co-op, and it's investing in the farm, and you're getting the benefits in produce. So our CSA is designed where we're working with local farmers, so that you're investing in more local than it is just Lynchburg grows. So it's broadening out that term of CSA. Like I said, you're investing in a seasonal share, and each week you get a share of produce in return for your advance fee payment.
I was going to ask you if there was a fee, or if they came in and worked to.
There's different ways to design a CSA. Some people, they'll come in and work or volunteer to get a share of produce. And some CSAs, our CSA is set up to where you pay a seasonal fee or a monthly fee, because our CSA goes year round. And each week you just come by and pick up a share of produce.
So Lynchburg Grows was really the pattern for the CSA here.
One of them. There are many other CSAs that have developed in Lynchburg that have spun off of other CSAs.
You brought some pictures. We got a lot of them, and I don't want to miss them. So Phil, if you'll put the pictures up on the screen, we'll get Derek to tell us what they are.
This sign is part of an adjacent property. It is metal that was from Alan Morrison property that we created our sign with, and that's the first thing you'll see as you're coming down Englewood Street.
That's cool.
This is a picture of a beginning process of an aquaponics unit. The aquaponics unit is similar to hydroponics, which is recycled water, but we will put fish in the lower pond area to fertilize the plants. Their fish waste will create that fertilizing for the plants.
So the plants are actually grown in this water?
The plants will be grown in the shelf units on the top and the lower, and the fish will go in the pond area.
We may have more pictures of that.
This is another example of a floating raft raised bed. It's where you use a styrofoam or some type of floating device and put your starter plants in those holding cells, and the water is always accessible to the roots.
That's interesting. Something I can't
It's
imagine.
similar to hydroponics and stuff. You see how the roots will reach down towards the lettuce, down towards the water.
So this is the lettuce on top.
That's head lettuce on the top, yes.
Beautiful lettuce, and these are the roots that have come up out of that water?
Right.
That's wonderful.
And with those units, you would have to incorporate nutrients into the water for the plants to feed off of. This is the beginning process of a sifting machine or sifting device for compost, which we had a bulldozer would dump the soil on top of a graded metal plat, and it would just fall through, and we would put wheelbarrows underneath to collect the sifted soil. And this is an updated version. Well, that was last year's aquaponics unit, where you see we have plants
Right.
in the top area in pots, and the water, like I said, it invites the roots to try to seek the water. So you only use as minimal water as possible, and it's just circulated over and over. This is a picture of one of the projects that we developed. The gentleman that's right beside me with the metal container, that's Roger Faber. He's with St. John Episcopal Church, and they're in that greenhouse, number 8 greenhouse, and they're growing produce for Daily Bread, which is the organization that we're helping to feed the needy with, and the 2 ladies are coordinators with Daily Bread.
That's wonderful.
The other 2 gentlemen are the other 2. Scott Lohman on the far end, and right beside me is Michael Van Ness, which are co-founders also.
Those are beautiful plants.
This is a picture of the 2nd greenhouse, and this is a winter season photo, which we're growing spinach and lettuce. And we use the white covers over the bed to trap the heat in the soil to winterize the plants in the wintertime. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
We work with children also and teach them how to identify bugs and plants and all nature and life that's involved with gardening. This is Princess. She's our spoiled goat. She's very spoiled. She's very spoiled. We used to have 2 goats, and we bought them to hopefully be able to produce some milk or collect the milk from them, but they were not processed for that. But she is an attraction for the children, and all the children like going to pet her and feeding her. Even roses. The goat likes to eat roses, stems and all.
Briars?
Everything.
Okay.
This is a picture of number 7 greenhouse, which we have just raised a little over $150,000 for. This will be an educational greenhouse. This greenhouse used to grow hydroponic roses. Those trays that you see the vegetation in used to hold roses. And now we're growing, that's where our aquaponics are located. And
Oh, that's gorgeous.
this is a picture of, I think, either last year or the year before, crop of green bell peppers. We had 1.5 acres of bell peppers that we were growing.
They're so healthy looking.
Now this is a picture of number 3 greenhouse that's dedicated to just roses. It's not as full as it is right now, but we still have plenty of roses that we are growing in there, and we have 9 different types of, colors of roses and 12 different names. So we have like 3 different reds, 2 pinks, and duplicates of different shades of colors. And this is, I believe, this year's crop of tomatoes. It's an early picture of
They look good.
this year's crop, which they're just now starting to turn red. Last week and this week we're starting to collect tomatoes. This is I believe, Randolph College or Lynchburg College. They're working in number 4 greenhouse. No, actually, this is a picture of William and Mary students. They spend an alternative spring vacation every year with us, and they're helping to restore one of the greenhouses, and they've been taking out soil and bringing in new materials to.
So you have volunteers from several colleges.
Lynchburg College is one of our biggest volunteer-based colleges, and this year we had William and Mary, and as far as Miami University came and spent their spring break with us also. It was 12 students.
That's wonderful for them and for you.
For us, especially coming that far from outside of the state, you know.
Yeah, that's great. How many volunteers do you have? Do you have an idea how many volunteers you have?
It fluctuates during the school periods. When the school is out in the summertime, it goes down. But during the school season, it goes up to, we can have as many as 20 people at any given time from the school.
How many people do you need on a daily basis to do just what it takes to run the place?
Right now we have 9 staff members, and that's at the bare minimum, trying to keep things on top.
Are they volunteers or?
No, they're paid staff. We have 2 full-time staff, and the rest are part-times, and those are individuals that are fitting into our mission of.
What kind of chores on a daily basis? Just if you can tell me what you do, what needs to be done.
It can be anything from weeding out beds to cutting roses to harvesting to planting to starting seeds and starter trays to taking care of the animals to heavy manual labor like moving bricks and stuff like that, bringing in soil. It can be a vast task.
So it doesn't really sound like you've got a lot of downtime.
Not very much. Not very much. We do try to make time, though.
You know, one of the things that I thought was really interesting is that you have classes for kids, youth that are at risk, adults, people with challenges and disabilities, and even some people who just want to improve their gardening skills.
Right.
How did you get all those people?
By luck, by getting our name out to the public, which is one of our first hurdles that we had to overcome, because the greenhouses were a commercial industry, rose industry, for a long period of time. So no one knew of the property because no one could visit the site. And so just getting our name out there, that's how we're getting most of our volunteers coming in. And it can be community service from the courts and from schools. It can be, like I said, people just wanting to learn more about growing a garden.
Well, do you have to have gardening skills in order to do this?
Here's the key.
To be a volunteer?
You do not. For an example, I have very little gardening experience. My experience only goes from going into my grandfather's garden, picking tomatoes and stuff off the vine without him knowing. But yeah, it's just
but you can still use the
learning.
volunteers.
Yes, it's hands-on learning.
Great.
Hands-on learning.
If you had a wish list, what would that be?
It's a long list. That's a long list.
Tell me a few.
Gardening tools, a consistent volunteer list of people. But I would say right on the top of that list is spreading the word about Lynchburg Grows, telling any and everybody that you know.
Do you have plans for future expansion?
We do. One of the first projects that we're working on is having a catering outfit, and
Wonderful.
We're working with a partner, and his wife is Evan Miller, they're doing a North Carolina style barbecue, and I think on the 26th of this month, we're going to start having like a little dining cart like lunch outfit thing on our property where you can come buy a lunch, a barbecue lunch.
That's wonderful. I also read that you can have people line up events with you all.
Yes, that reminds me about number 9 greenhouse. We're not using it as a traditional greenhouse. Even though it still has roses on the side walls of it, we rent it out as an event hall.
Wonderful.
So we've had wedding reception dinners in there, a couple of those, and birthday parties and stuff like that, however you want to use it.
You all have a website?
lynchburggrows.org.
Okay.
And
if anyone were interested in finding out more about you all or maybe wanting to volunteer, they could go to the website and do that.
You can go to the website, like I said, once again, lynchburggrows.org. You can call us at 434-846-5665, or you can come visit us at 1339 Inglewood Street. It's located right beside Lynchburg Stadium.
Derek, I thank you so much. It's hard to believe we're out of time. I've got more questions I could ask you. I think what you all do is just wonderful. I'm really in awe of what you do with the people that you have and the volunteers. Please continue to do it, and I hope that from the show, people will show more interest and come and find out about you.
Thank you for helping us with that.
I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. My next program will feature the Lynchburg Daily Bread. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.